It's the match of the season. Top meets second as Wigan go for a new record. They've won 13 games straight at the start of the season. If they win today, they enter the Hall of Fame again. Leeds, unbeaten in 6, are determined to stop them. Headingley stages the biggest battle of the season so far. Now the teams: fullback Alan Tate, the international from Leeds; Paul Aitchison, the 21-year-old former academy and under-21 star. Wings, it's Jim Fallon, one of the game's deadliest finishers, and the same must be said of Jason Robinson. Francis Cummins became the youngest ever Wembley finalist against Wigan last season when Martin Afire scored 2 tries and won his second Lance Todd Award. In the centre, Kevin Iro, 4 winning Wembleys as a Wigan player, and Inga the winger, who's now established as a centre. And another former All Black, Craig Innes, is against the best of British, Gary Connolly. Stand-off, it's Gary Schofield in super form, 8 tries in his last 6, and the outstanding junior Kiwi captain Henry Paul. Scrum half Graham Holroyd played like he'd played nowhere else against Swinton. He's up against the game's most decorated man, Sean Edwards. Up front, Harvey Howard returns, and so too does Kelvin Skerritt. Prime the seismometers when these two collide. And it'll be just as rugged when Assini Milo and Neil Cowie come face to face. The hookers James Lowes has played the last 12 and Leeds have won 10. They've almost forgotten about Martin Dermott these days as Martin Hall's playing so well at Wigan. New Zealander Gary Mercer is up against Dennis Betts. He's played the last 10 tests against Australia. And George Mann failed a late fitness test, so Richie Ayres plays. It's 19-year-old Simon Horton for Wigan. And Ellery Hanley, 6 glorious years at Central Park. He'd like nothing more than a win against his former club, for whom Andy Farrell completes the lineup. The coaches, Doug Lawton at Leeds, a former Wigan skipper, and another former Wigan captain is now in charge of team affairs, Graham West. The match referee today is Stuart Cummings, and we hope that he is on top of his form, as we hope the two sides are on top of theirs. Because there's a massive crowd at Headingley turned out to see this one. Top plays second, and when they talk about Premier League next season, this is what the Premier League and the big league is all about. It's the top of the tree in the Stonesbitter Championship. Leeds against Wigan. Wigan, in the shape of Andy Farrell, get the game underway. James Lowes picks up, and the first tackle completed by the second rower, Simon Horton. Leeds, desperate to win. The whole sport of rugby league, I think, hoping for a Leeds win, because if Wigan win today, there's a great feeling in the game that you may as well wrap up the championship and give it them now. Substitutes, look at the benches for both these sides. Onta and Harmon for Leeds, Bottica and O'Connor for Wigan. Such strength and depth for these two giants of the big league. High kick, and it's a very breezy day at Headingley, and Aitchison wise really to allow that to bounce over his shoulder and then make the run to the quarter line.
Seemed to lose that, did Aitchison, but as you did mention, Eddie, swirling wind, turned his back on it, let it bounce first. There's a super kick though from Graham Holroyd. That's obviously the tactics from Leeds early. Get the ball well into the air.
This is Henry Paul with a little run, the junior Kiwi captain, grounded 10 metres inside his own half. Martin Hall, the dummy half. Edwards, and now the tall figure of the Wigan second row, Simon Horton. Edwards, Wigan captain. Interesting today, the captain of Great Britain, Sean Edwards, shaking hands with the coach of Great Britain, Ellery Hanley, as the two sides prepared to get this game underway.
Well, they thought about it. Now, that wasn't a flop. They dropped him in the end. Well, I know Stuart Cummings has gone straight there to the prop forward, Neil Cowie. They thought about it, but they dropped him. They did not force him into it. Second thoughts and just dropped in the end. Well, he's making his presence felt very early as a referee, Cummings.
Great driving run from Harvey Howard, and looking back over the years, the head-to-head between these two sides, Wigan with an overwhelming advantage in matches in the First Division. But Leeds look in the mood today to turn that recent record round.
Tate realised there was no room on the outside. Twiggamala had him all wrapped up. Nice little kick through. Robinson quick to it, but that's the tactics they want. Well, we were going to expect this from the referee. No messing around at the play of the ball. It was for Milo that just tipped him over in the end.
Kelvin Skerritt with the drive into the Leeds half of the field. The tempo of this match already is, well, above anything that we've seen so far in the big league this season.
Certainly is. Skipper of Wigan, Sean Edwards, very quick to take that penalty. He wants to get on with it.
He's collared by Richie Ayres and Assini for Milo there too. Martin Hall, the dummy half. Here's Andy Farrell just juggling with it. Spins the pass into the arms of Henry Paul. And Henry Paul watched by Gary Schofield. This is Hall again. Now to Wigamala. Takes something to bring him down, it really does.
Big strong man there. Wigan quite happy to just start spraying this ball around. That's a beautiful kick from Edwards.
Picked up neatly by Tate. Good chasing though. Now Jim Fallon with his first run.
Beautiful kick there. Puts him right across on the angle. But Alan Tate equal to the task. He'd read it well. Oh! Neil Cowie really having a good go on the top of there. Well, this is going to be pretty fiery. Look at that. Gave him a bit of a facial. Youngster Simon Horton over the top of it. Kevin Iro not happy with it. Few words to be spoken. And rightly so. Little doubt there's a little bit of messing around there. You can see the elbow move. Swinging arm given by the referee, Stuart Cummings.
Well, Neil Cowie has been warned now twice in the opening 4 minutes by the referee. Lowe's restarts and for Milo will take the run. Trying to run straight through the chest of Betts. Lowe's again to Schofield, and there's Holroyd. Iro, it's a good ball. He brushes off the challenge of Edwards. Tate is there. Gets the pass to Innes. I think Tate, though, was looking for the long ball out wide to the winger, Francis Cummins. As it is, Iro will continue this on.
It looks like Henry Paul is down there injured, badly injured as well. He took a knock in the back play.
Schofield to Holroyd, Leeds sweeping forward, but the kick straight into the arms of Hall. And it's a good job that Schofield was quick.
Offside.
Pull them all back.
He's got him for being offside.
It's a penalty to Leeds, bang in front of the Wigan sticks.
It's either offside or pulling someone back when Hall made that break. The kick threw straight into it. And you could see there it's a halfback, Graham Holroyd, holding back Dennis Betts. Stuart Cummings, very quick to give it. Well, I can't understand why.
It's a Leeds penalty.
Well, that's unusual. You saw that. Well, there must have been something in the back play that I never saw. It was quite clear, though, that man, Graham Holroyd, held back Dennis Betts. And perhaps there was some interference. Let's have a little look and see what happened. Hall never made the 10. It's quite clear there. And the reason why he's allowed the play on is that he wanted to try to give advantage to the lead side. It was not to be. That is great refereeing.
Martin Hall then didn't retreat the 10 metres at the play of the ball. Picked out well by referee Stuart Cummins. Holroyd then from bang in front, and he gives Leeds the early advantage here. No doubt this ground buzzing, particularly those who have the red and white favours of Wigan. But Martin Hall, as the camera quite clearly picked out, was standing in an offside position, and good refereeing by Stuart Cummins, Steve-O.
Certainly was. He stamped his authority early in the game. A couple of cautions on the run to Neil Cowie. Well, we saw a great performance on Friday night from the referee then, John Connolly. This new rule where they're not interfering at the play of the ball, no flopping. It's getting through to the players, and it means open play. More to come, please.
Yes, re-emphasis by the referee's controller, Greg McCallum, to his team of officials in the big league. And so far, after Friday night and 7 minutes here today, the message seems to be through to them. Now will it get through to the players? 4 penalties in the opening 7 minutes, 3 of them going to Leeds, one of them kicked by Holroyd. That's why we have the 2-0 advantage to Leeds. In second spot in the Stones Villa Championship for Milo, the prop forward, wrestled to the ground, Simon Horton and Kelvin Skerritt. Here's Schofield. Kicking today will be important. Schofield kicking that underneath the wind. Oh, and there's a mistake. from Paul Aitchison that Schofield was hoping and his supporters were praying for.
The pressure definitely got to the young fullback Aitchison. He'd all the time in the world, and it just got to him. And it's not surprising, it's a packed house here today at Headingley. This is a real crunch game. Wigan going for the record, 13 straight wins, but Leeds have the advantage by 2 points.
Holroyd feeds the scrum and he finds Schofield. Schofield to Iro, back to Schofield. It's Tate, and out wide is Cummins, and Cummins scores! A tremendous try from Leeds. They swept that ball from one side of the field to the other, and Francis Cummins over for his 4th try of the season.
A set move by Leeds, it's a run around with Schofield and Iro. It sucks in the defence. Wigan failed to slide across. Alan Tate chimes into the back line. The overlap is there. There was nothing Robinson could do. And Francis Cummins, the youngster, is in for a great try. This is how the mistake came. It's all about pressure. And Paul Aitchison spills the ball from the resulting scrum. The superb skills of Gary Schofield, the runaround. Look how they've been caught short. Tate came through. Beautiful pass out wide, and Cummins in for a great try. It may look simple, but it held the defence enough. The overlap's there. Superb run from Tate, and what a great finish from the youngster.
Francis Cummins, his 4th try of the campaign, and a priceless one too from the under-21 international. The youngest ever Challenge Cup finalist against Wigan last season. He scored a try that day, and I wonder just how important that try will be come the end of this clash here today. Holroyd then with a difficult conversion, but I tell you what, he is kicking like a dream. He punched that ball underneath the breeze. 8-0, a dream start for the men from Headingley. 8-0 then. The team in second place have got their noses in front of the champions. It will do their confidence a power of good. Holroyd, who kicked that wonderful conversion. Mercer brushes away from Edwards. Connolly's after him, so too is Paul.
Beautiful start there from Leeds. They got the 2 points, and then that magnificent... Oh, it's on. Mercer didn't like the fact that Scarlett came in. Good refereeing as well. There was a lot of words spoken. A couple of argy-bargies. Didn't like the fact that Scarlett went in. Mercer came in and had a go at him. Cummins says, let's get on with the game. That's what they've come to see.
Iro on the roaring run. He's still going, Iro. Tremendous pace and power from Iro. Support arrives for Minnis. Out to Cummins. Cummins cuts inside Connolly. And eventually he's hauled down by Robinson.
They're running hot.
Are on the rack here. Long ball. Bounces in front of Holroyd. Men out wide for Holroyd. He takes them on.
It's a quick play of the ball that's needed and switch on.
Mercer to Hanley to Schofield, who missed it. Skerritt picks up the pieces gratefully.
Schofield could see that Skerritt was coming at him on the corner of his eye, and it was enough to put him off. He wasn't the best pass.
Penalty to Wigan. Interference at the play of the ball. Gary Mercer pinned by referee Stuart Cummins, holding down as Skerritt tried to get the momentum going for Wigan.
Well, there you see the flop from the second rower, Gary Mercer, and then he just messed around a bit. He couldn't get off him. Referee Stuart Cummins screaming to him. But Leeds are running hot, and this Wigan sliding defence is being caught. They were on the rack there. All Schofield had to do was take that ball and get it out wide, and the overlap was there again.
Well, Leeds coming into this match on the back of 6 consecutive wins and playing like a team bang in form. And look at the possession that Leeds are enjoying in the opening 11 minutes. Ball in play just less than 6, 64 to 36, and a penalty to Wigan, which Hanley can't believe.
Well, that's an interesting one, isn't it? For a long, long time, we've seen Ellery Hanley always messing around at the play of the ball. The referee said no interference, and they mean business. The Great Britain captain coach not too happy with that.
Edwards into the hands of Paul, and he finds Twigamala. Twigamala inviting Aitchison and then bouncing off the chest of Iro and getting the ball away to Aitchison. Can the fullback make amends for that blunder? He gets it away to Horton. Simon Horton, big tall 19-year-old. 3 of them bringing down. Wigan just 12 metres from the Leeds post with Edwards. Edwards, short ball to Cowie, and Cowie's in! Cowie touches down. Edwards created it with a short ball, and the prop forward, in trouble with the referee early on, has bounced back with a try.
Superb play from Shaun Edwards. He goes from the open side to the blind. He called for it. The short ball there sucked the man inside, and the big prop forward, Neil Cowie, goes over. Beautiful play. He attacks the defence, dragged in Richie Ayres. The gap was there. Defend on Tate, over for the 4. They bounce back well. This is a superb pass. See how he sucked in Ayres towards him. And this powerhouse prop forward has put Wigan back into the game. Just a short, sweet pass, and look at the pen there on Tate. Get out of the way. Wigan are back in this game with a vengeance.
And Shaun Edwards, the man who put Cowie through the gap. Cowie did the difficult work, obviously, of getting to the line and scoring the try. His first of the season. Quite a time to get off the mark. Neil Cowie. 1 Great Britain cap in his career. He's played in the last 9. So Andy Farrell then. Botica, the regular goal kicker for Wigan, on the bench. Henry Paul can kick too, but it's Farrell. And Farrell just boots away the pile of sand in disgust at that effort. 8-4 Leeds.
This is how it came about. From the open side, a good call from Edwards. Look how he sweeps to the blind side and then sucks in Ayres. That was enough. Just a little dink, little dummy. Look at the strength of the prop forward. Oh, this is all the makings of a classic game.
So Wigan off the mark, courtesy of Edwards and Cowie. They are scoring at an incredible level. 508 points in their 13 league games. That's an average of 39 per game. They're conceding an average of just 12 per game. So Leeds are close to that average already with this 8-4 advantage. And that's the way their defence attack looks this season. Wigan on top, Leeds second. That's, of course, before this match today. 8-4 Leeds. The opening 15.5 minutes of this match, Steve-O, have flashed by.
It's been a classic, hasn't it? Both sides really wanting to get on with the game. Quick play of the balls, fast and furious.
And Leeds, I think, believing that this really is their day.
Well, they were pretty confident before the game. Dougie Lawton, their coach, he said it's going to be Leeds' day. He had no doubt about that. He's been preparing for this game all week. Well taken from Tate there.
And Henry Paul running from an onside position, but didn't take too well.
Good run there from Henry Paul, but it really has been a wonderful effort from Leeds. They've been creating a strong run from the forwards and then getting the link going. Schofield and Holroyd, they really are getting it together.
Tremendous start by Leeds. Here's Hanley. 6 glorious years at Central Park. Ellery Hanley. 400 tries now to the Great Britain coach in his career. A career that has still got a little bit to run, I fancy, even though he told us on Boots and All the other week this is probably his last season. Long kick, that catches the wind, and it's a very strong breeze that's blowing at Leeds back in this first half.
Far too strong there from Graham Holroyd. The tactic was right, but he really needed a little bit more height to that.
Holroyd at scrum half today, keeping the French international Patrick Onta on the bench. And a tremendous game last week did Holroyd in the first round of the Regal Trophy.
Not much love lost between those two, Gary Mercer and Kelvin Skerritt. It's going to be a tough one. I think fitness is going to prove today who is the best side. It's been at a cracking pace so far.
Andy Farrell on halfway, grounded by Ayres and Hanley, with a little bit of help from James Lowes as well. Edwards shaped a kick then, and just lost his footing as he went through the gap. Last tackle here for Wigan. Still just inside the Leeds half of the field, long way to go. Hall puts the kick in. That will scoot away on the turf, even though Wigan are in the face of this stiff breeze.
Well, Martin Hall took responsibility. Sean Edwards, normally the kicker, was there playing the football. Andy Farrell was standing back. Perhaps it'd have been better served to give it to the big loose forward.
Rugged determination there from Jim Fallon. Here's Harvey Howard. Loses the ball in the tackle. There was a great tackle too from young Andy Farrell on Harvey Howard. The ball just popped out.
Strength there. He put the shoulder right underneath the rib cage. Pops the ball out. That's a bad mistake early in the tackle count. Leeds can't afford to do that.
Hall, the dummy half. Cowie called for it. And Cowie decided to take Ellery Hanley on head-to-head. Hanley would have none of it. Low handling error count. Just 3 of them. Betts.
Good defence there. Second row, Richie Ayres didn't take the dummy.
Edwards. Henry Paul. Twigamala. Waiting for it out wide is Connolly, and a fire, but Twigamala won't need anybody. Twigamala scores. Vital try. His 10th of the season. Inga, the winger, hasn't he settled in as a centre?
Well, Richie Ayres may not have taken the dummy a few seconds before this play, but you'll see it come quite clear. Look at the big man throw the dummy through, and Iro will go for it. See you later. Kevin went across. I'm afraid the sliding defence wasn't there. Graham Holroyd far too slow. The big man was on his way for 4 points. Lovely long ball. Combination of the two halfbacks, Henry Paul and Sean Edwards. But look at this. Iro says take the inside man. I'm afraid Holroyd failed to shift over. The gap was there, and it's pretty hard to stop this fella. In tremendous form, the big man by Iga Twigamala.
Well, he's certainly finding his big league feet. Not only is he scoring tries against club opposition in this country, he also grabbed a try against the Australians on the recent tour. Farrell to give Wigan the lead, but goal kicking is going to be a problem in these conditions, and that shot straight across the face of the field and went out on the far side.
You can see the man Harrod there. It's Graham Holroyd, and he throws the dummy. Once Iro has gone on the outside, I'm afraid you've got to slide across. He didn't. Look at the pace for the big man. That is a super try. Determination.
And that determination from Twigamala levels the scores. Wigan, rather like a world heavyweight boxing champion, coming back off the ropes, having taken an 8-0 deficit. They now have squared the match up after 21 minutes.
2 lapses in defence from the lead side. One where they took the dummy. Now that's an interesting... Sean Edwards has gone berserk with Stuart Cummings, the referee, saying that the prop forward, Harvey Howard, was interfering at the play of the ball. Now the ruling states that once you've made the tackle, you must roll away from the area where the ball is being played. And Sean Edwards went bananas. Didn't make any difference to it.
Tate, Leeds will attack the blind side. Edwards came across to cut the Leeds full-back down. A fire is limping as Fallon takes this ball on. Gets away from Edwards first time. Manages to keep the ball alive to Lowes. That's great play by Fallon. And this now is Schofield. Great tackle on him by Henry Paul.
It had to be as well. That's interference. That'll be a penalty. Just a little touch there from the Kiwi. Henry Paul. Second go at it. Push Schofield over. Well, to me, that's a professional foul. And the youngster Paul should be in for a 10-minute stint in the sin bin, in my book. No doubt about it. Quick play the ball out wide. Leeds did have the overlap. They took the chance of giving away 2 rather than a possible 6.
That's the angle that Graham Holroyd has. Touch judge just on the field then briefly to get Wigan back behind that dotted line to give Graham Holroyd 10 clear metres in front of him. All a touch of gamesmanship, isn't it? Just to try and put the young kicker off as he takes aim at what could well be an important kick for Leeds. 8-all. 10-8 Leeds. Holroyd wasn't going to be put off by all that. Leeds back in front.
A picture of concentration from the youngster. Holroyd, a vital 2 points. And they know it too. But I'm sure the message will be out from Doug Lawton, the Leeds coach, to just tighten up that defence. 2 lapses have allowed Wigan to get back into this game.
Andy Farrell then restarts for Wigan. The Wigan side, of course, who are aiming to go 14 unbeaten at the start of the season. A brand new record beckoning them, but Leeds are unbeaten here at Headingley this season. They have a proud home record to defend, and they are defending it stoutly at the moment. And Doug Lawton, the coach, telling me on the telephone last night, he thought that Leeds would win here today. He had no doubts at all. He knows, of course, how important it is, not only for Leeds, but for the game in general, Steve-O. If Wigan win today, they go at least 6 points clear of the field.
It'll be pretty hard to catch as well, and that's far too long. He knows it too. Very strong wind. Advantage to Leeds in this first half. Wigan know that. They'll be quite happy to keep the scoreline the same to the half-time break. They know big kicking game in the second half. And he's making his point, isn't he? It must get through to them. Well, a bit of showmanship, gamesmanship on both sides.
It worked for Wigan.
It certainly did. They've made it clear, haven't they? You just cannot do anything now to play the ball, and that is great refereeing.
And it was good, quick thinking from Henry Paul too. He saw no one was in front of him. He took the play the ball to himself. Innes couldn't tackle him, because had he done so, he would have been penalised. And Henry Paul was able to make about 15 or 20 metres. Wigan on the attack again then, and Hanley again stepping over a grounded player. This is Jason Robinson. Martin Hall to Sean Edwards. Dennis Betts is the runner. Dennis Betts steps inside. The Great Britain coach that can't step inside Alan Tate.
Well, he just threw the dummy there, and Ellery Hanley took it so easy.
Twigamala with his strength going for his second. And that was on the 5th and final tackle.
You could see the look of disgust from the skipper, Sean Edwards, then. He was expecting the ball. He wanted to put the kick in, apply the pressure. Twigamala thought otherwise.
Fallon, he's had an impressive opening 25 minutes, Jim Fallon, but can't get away from those two, and possession has suddenly swung Wigan's way. Now Mercer trying to get away from Twigamala.
Well, with this huge wind behind them, surely they've got to get the big boot to it. Good strong run there from Craig Innes, and he's gone in.
Well, the touch judge saw something as Innes went down. Edwards complaining. Skerritt was in there quickly and shot away.
It's Paul and Edwards, and there you see Skerritt come through. Bit of a facial on the run, right in front of the touch judge. See clearly now, there it is, just went for the face, didn't swing the arm. But it was enough for the touch judge to make this man aware, Stuart Cummings, the man who's laying down the law. Skerritt doesn't like it. You must be thinking, well, I've got away with worse than that over the years.
Kelvin Skerritt missed the Ashes series, but has played the last 3 big league games for Wigan. Bit of a blow that he couldn't play for Britain in that series. But Cowie and Fallon are obviously having a little tete-a-tete out there, and it has reached the ears of the touch judge on this near side, and referee Stuart Cummings wants to calm it all down before it gets any worse. There's a lot of needles, Steve-O, in this battle of the giants.
So there should be. First versus second. It wasn't going to be anything like Crocer this afternoon.
By Milo, taking Skerritt on, trying also to take Simon Horton on. Schofield to Holroyd, and here now is Innes again.
Wigan coming up very quickly out wide in defence. That's where they can be taken with a neat little chip over the top.
Harvey Howard with the run. It's now Lowe's, and here's Hanley. Graham West watching pensively, the Wigan coach from the main stand. This beautifully appointed Headingley ground looks as pretty as a picture today. Filled to capacity, tremendous to see. And watching this run from Iro, who feeds Fallon, and Fallon would not be stopped. Now Fallon for me has started this game tremendously, and he's got rich reward. His 10th try of the season. Leeds increase their lead again.
Wonderful finishing by Jim Fallon, but put this down to Kevin Iro. Connolly failed to get him to grass. Look at that, the strength of the man they call the beast. Drew in a fire, and I'm afraid Aitchison just hesitated too long. That was a wonderful try from the wingman. Jim Fallon showed all the skill there. Long ball from Schofield, but this is where Connolly, you've got to make your mark. Look at the strength in those legs, the second effort. A fire had to go for the man with the football, but look at that, in and out. That is a wonderful score.
Delight on the faces of the Leeds players there as Fallon went in for that try. Interestingly enough, Fallon, who scored then, and Cummins, they both scored tries as Leeds lost the Challenge Cup at Wembley. They've both scored tries here today, but are they this time going to be on the winning side? They certainly seem in determined mood, this Leeds team, there's no doubt about that. They're up for the challenge from the champions, and formidable challenge it is. Holroyd has been perfect with the goal kicking. 3 out of 3. Man of the match against Swinton at scrum half last Sunday. 26 points to his credit. It was a career best for young Graham Holroyd. And that conversion just slightly off target. So it stays 14-8. Leeds ahead.
Once Iro had stepped out of the would-be tackle from Gary Connolly, a fire had to go for him. It left the room outside. It still had to be scored. Look how he just hesitates, in and out. Great try.
I said right at the top of the programme today, he's getting a reputation as one of the deadliest finishers in the game, and that really summed up exactly why. Just having a little look, the touch just there with a cut just above the eye. Wigan are making a change. Aitchison, the fullback, is off. Bottica has come on. Henry Paul now playing fullback, and he's got to tackle James Lowe's, and tackle him he did.
Alan Tate was screaming for the football there from the hooker. Oh, they're on fire, this Leeds side. The Wigan defence is being cut to ribbons.
By Milo to Holroyd. Here now is Gary Mercer, and Twiggamala picked him out. It's a tremendous game. The opening half hour here has belonged to Leeds. Bottica on, number 14. He's playing at standoff. Henry Paul is the fullback.
Well, the forwards are driving in heavy again. This is where the link comes.
This is the last tackle. Schofield with the drop goal attempt. It just fades wide. Isn't that really indicating the problem this wind is? It got behind the ball here and took it away from the post.
He tried to swirl it round, but not enough. He knew the importance of that extra 1 point. Remember, Leeds have this very strong wind to their advantage in this first half. Wigan will know that, especially their coach Graham West.
Good thinking by Gary Schofield. Gary Schofield, OBE, of course. He collected his gong at Buckingham Palace on Tuesday.
Well deserved too.
Been a funny old season for Schofield, hasn't it? Stripped of the captaincy of his country, dropped, and then he forced his way back. OBE on Tuesday, 46 caps now for his country. Great servant to the game. Cowie.
Well, this really will test the mettle of this Wigan side. Not often that they've been in a position like that where they're having to be chasing the other team.
The kick downfield on the last tackle from Edwards, fielded well by Alan Tate. It shows you the difference at the moment that Leeds are playing with the wind at their backs, and Edwards' kick, it caught in the breeze, and Tate had to be very careful not to make a meal of it, and he didn't, and he's launched this attack now. Iro plays the ball to Lowe's. The quickness of the play, the balls, the pace of this match, it is unrelenting here. Can Leeds and Wigan keep up this pace? Can they keep up this tempo?
Fitness will certainly tell, but Wigan will try to survive these last 7 minutes in the half-time break.
That's a great kick. Mercer was called by referee Stuart Cummings to stay away. He was offside. It allowed Paul the easiest of chances to collect that high kick, and he stepped away from Mercer's challenge, and another, but Schofield eventually holds him down.
Interference at the play of the ball, just pulled him back.
And Holroyd's in the sin bin.
See how he just pushed him? That was enough. They've been told before the game started, I will not have anybody coming in and interfering at the play of the ball. You don't have to flop, just touch the man. Well, Leeds are shooting themselves in the foot here. They were controlling this game, and now they're down to 12.
Referee's patience has snapped. There has been a lot going on at the play of the ball. Be interesting to see the next time that Leeds have the ball in their possession, whether he is as consistent as we would hope him to be. Botica gets the ball out to Twigamala. That was a good tackle, and it had to be two by Kevin Iro. Here's Botica again.
Watch for the darting run from Edwards. Maybe the kick into the corner's on.
There's Edwards. He thought about it. Instead, he floats it out wide to Paul. They've got Jason Robinson out wide. O'Fire is there. Robinson's there, and Wigan have scored. The extra man has taken its toll on Leeds, and they have been punished for Holroyd's indiscretion by 4 points for Wigan. And a bit of a brouhaha going on after the try was scored. Referee and touch judge just sorting it out. Robinson the try. Wigan another 4 points.
Well, Leeds are running along, weren't they? 1-2-5 express train. Get a man sent to the sin bin. Edwards threw enough dummies there. They hesitated. Long ball out wide. They didn't put the man down. O'Fire got the ball away, and Robinson, eager to support. They're back again. Seesawing stuff. Beautiful play, though. You can see how they hesitate off Edwards. What's he going to do? Is he going to kick? Is he going to do this? Innocent committed himself out wide. That meant there was going to be an overlap. Paul starts spinning back on the inside. Good support from O'Fire. He did well to come from the other wing. And what a finish. Long ball. Look how they just hang around. They're mesmerized by Edwards. Long ball again. As I said, Innocent committed himself. He tried to come back on the inside. To no avail. They're back in it. A little bit of a dust up there. Robinson got one while he was scoring. It was accidental. A few of the Wigan players didn't think so. It's tense. It's tough.
And it's 14-12. And Botica, the boot, is back for Wigan. But the ball keeps flowing over off the sand. 4 minutes to half-time. By the way, Wigan have made a change while we await this conversion attempt from Botica. O'Connor has come on, and he's replaced Dennis Betts. Referee calls time on again. Now he'll call time off once more, and someone will have to come up and hold this ball for Botica, because it keeps blowing off that sand. Leeds also, by the way, making a change here too. Neil Harmon is coming on for Harvey Howard. Harmon and Howard and Mann when he's fit, and for Milo all jinking round with this front row berth, and the conversion attempt from Botica, the boot, misses. 14-12.
Look at the two Leeds defenders. They're trying to shut Edwards down. The long ball out wide. You're always going to be in a lot of trouble there. to be fair, Innes tried to come back and resurrect himself, and in doing so, created a situation where the ball had to come back on the inside. Great work from O'Fire. Great support from Robinson.
Referee and the Leeds captain, by the way, as Jason Robinson reflects on his try, are having a discussion, and no doubt the discussion centres around the yellow card for Graham Holroyd. The referee wants a word with Neil Cowie. I beg your pardon, it's Martin Hall, not Neil Cowie.
Referee Stuart Cummings saying, listen boy, I'm the one with the whistle, I'm in charge. And I tell you what, Eddie, Stuart Cummings is well and truly in control of this game. Full credit to them. I really have given them some rubbish over the years. But since they've decided to clean up this play of the ball, we are getting great football.
Here's Cowie again. Harvey Howard has come on, or rather been taken off for Neil Harmon. And meanwhile, the referee has said knock on against Wigan, and it's a Leeds head and feet at the scrum. And there it is.
Just a little one. Martin Hall claiming it came off the boot. Touch judge didn't think so. Stuart Cummings looked a little bit lost for a moment. The crowd made no doubt. They went up in unison.
Skerritt, by the way, the Wigan man off for Terry O'Connor.
Well, it's nearly half-time now. Will Leeds put on a move from the scrum? They scored a try, first try from it.
Remember, they're one man down with Holroyd in the sin bin, and that's got to be a yellow card. Well, we asked for consistency from the referee, and we've got it. Botica is in the sin bin.
Not only that, I'm standing up and bowing to the very whistleblower. Well done, Mr. Cummings. Keep it up, boys. You could say there was a bit of Academy Award from the lead skipper, Ellery Hanley, but even so, there was definite interference. I must be in a dream world. I can't believe that this is happening. Referees are actually going along with it throughout the game, not just for the first 10 minutes.
Cummings now. And despite the fact that Gary Schofield was lying there with his finger on top of the ball, the youngster not put off. 16-12 Leeds. Thoroughly deserved too as we approach half-time. Botica, a spectator with the rest of us for 10 minutes. Deep in stoppage time here, and the referee has been calling time off at regular intervals. But I tell you what, a match of this quality, it can go on all night and day for me. Farrell restarts. Schofield collects it. Took it very well. By Milo.
Nothing silly now from Leeds. They realise they're in the box seat. The driving force going to the half-time break with a 4-point lead. Pretty handy. They know they've got to be against this strong wind in the second half. Important they don't make a mistake now.
Richie Ayres picking himself up eventually. James Lowes gives it to Hanley. Hanley through the gap. Still going, Hanley. He has some strength still, doesn't he? That's the last Leeds tackle.
He nearly got the ball away there. Alan Tate was really pounding through. Far too strong. That's the problem that Leeds are going to have to face in the second half. The big question will be, is 4 points going to be enough?
Well, they've been headed at half-time just twice in the season, at Workington and at Hull. But they have managed, over the course of the past 13 games, to come back and win the match. Will Wigan come back and win this one? 4 minutes of stoppage time played. Leeds anxious to take the half-time break with a lead, but Andy Farrell's got other ideas.
Good break from the big loose forward. Edwards scheming for the ball on the inside.
Henry Paul straightens up, takes on Mercer, stands in the tackle well, gets it away to Connolly. Connolly calling Twigamala inside him. O'Fire is outside him. This now is Edwards. Edwards looping pass into the arms of Simon Horton. And Simon Horton nowhere to go, and Leeds take a half-time lead with them to the dressing rooms. Jason Robinson with one of the 3 Wigan tries, the last one that made it 14-12. Jim Fallon had scored one of the 2 Leeds tries. That made it 14-8, and it was the boot of Cummings in the end that gave us a 16-12 half-time situation. Iro with the strength, Fallon with the try, a great half for Leeds.